right, let's look at this word question. Okay, so the number of hybrid vehicles sold in the United States, S, can be modeled by the formula S equals 199,148 times 2.39 to the power of n, where n is the number of years since 2005. So we're looking at stuff that is since 2005, so that's what our formula is made for. Okay, and the reason we're studying this equation is because it has an exponent in the equation. Okay, so let's take a look at what they expect us to be able to do. So first of all, it says evaluate S equals, and the formula, when n equals 0. So evaluate when n equals 0. So we're going to take this n equals 0, and we are going to put that 0 into our equation. Now, let's take a look at what this looks like. So we have S equals 199,148 times 2.39 to the power of 0. Well, I know anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So really, it's this large number times the number 1. So I end up with 199,148. So that tells me a few different things. It says, what does the answer represent? Well, this n is the number of years since 2005. So when n equals 0, that is the year 2005. So in the year 2005, this is the number of vehicles that was produced. So I'm going to switch to typing mode, and I'll continue with the red. This is the number of vehicles in the year 2005. Now, obviously, it's the number of hybrid vehicles, but I just shortened that down a bit. So let's take a look at the next question. It says, estimate the number of hybrid vehicles sold in 2004. Now, in questions like this, when they say estimate, they don't want you to guess and say, oh, I think it's going to be, 100,000. They literally want you to substitute a number in for n. And the reason it's an estimate is we're assuming that this equation will hold true for not just the year 2005, but for other years. Now, the problem is when I'm looking at the year 2004, my equation was made for 2005. So if 2005 was the year 0, n equals 0, and 2004 is less than that, that would mean that I would want n to equal a negative 1, right? Because n equals 0, hold on, because n equals 0 is 2005, okay, and so if I have n equals 1, that would be in 2006. So it would make sense that as I'm going up, my numbers are going. If my time is going backwards, my n is going to go into the negatives. So let's actually go and calculate this. So I end up with S equals 199,148 times 2.39 to the power of negative 1. Now, I know the negative will actually flip this space, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use my calculator. So I'm going to type this all in, make sure I put a negative 1 for my exponent, and when I do that, I end up with 83,325, and obviously they give me half of a vehicle. Decimal 5 it would round to. So what I would put for my answer, approximately, because remember I'm doing an estimate, So I'm going to do approximately 83,326. I'm going to round it up. Vehicles. Oops. Help if I hit the V. Vehicles. You can see I'm having problems spelling, actually typing, vehicles in 2004. Okay. And again, the next part of the question is predict the number of hybrid vehicles that will be sold in 2007. Now, again, just like the word estimate, when we're talking about predicting, again, we're assuming our equation will hold true in the year 2007. Okay, so estimate and predict in both these cases means I still use the formula. The reason they use these softer words has to do with the fact that we're assuming that the equation will hold true. Now, if I'm looking at the year 2007 and my formula is for the year 2005, that's what it was created for, the first thing I have to calculate is my n. So I have 2007 and the formula's made for 2005. Obviously, that would be 2 years. Oh, I don't know why I put 3 there. So it would be 2. So what I'm going to do with that 2 is I'm going to substitute it into our equation again and take our calculator to calculate our answer. So we have S equals 199,148 times the 2.39, and it's to the power of 2. And out comes our calculator, and we end up with 1,137,553 approximately vehicles. Okay, so our statement would be approximately 1,137,553 vehicles. Oops, it just won't want to do that for me. Vehicles in 2007. Okay, so that's how we would work with a word question dealing with our exponents. Okay, good luck with you with your questions.